So, hi, thank you for coming back from the coffee break. Hope you have a nice caffeine injection now. My name is Sarah Joy Murray. I'm Vice President of Marketing at Sociomantic, which you may or may not have heard of. And I was also employee number 2, so you may see that I'm also the biggest Sociomantic evangelist that you may get the chance to meet. So, introducing my team, this is Sociomantic. I always think it's nice to show the people behind the product. This was actually last summer at our kind of annual summer summit. That time we were about 110 people across something like 8 or 9 offices. We just had our summit again 2 weeks ago, and we're now about 250 people across 17 offices globally. So in the 5 years that I've been with the company, it's been quite a fun and exciting ride, all thanks to programmatic personalized marketing. So just a little bit of background on us. We're founded in Berlin in 2009. 3 founders, all from East Germany. I'm based in Berlin, even though you hear my Texas accent, actually. And over the last 2 years, we've really focused a lot on internationalization and taking the best learnings from our local offices around the world and spreading those across the globe. So our most recent office that we've opened up was in Jakarta, really exciting. And then the really exciting news that we had in April was actually joining forces with a company called dunnhumby. So we were acquired in April. Who has actually heard of dunnhumby? I'm just kind of curious. It's still a new playground for me. So dunnhumby is a company owned by a company you might know named Tesco. It's their data science arm, actually. And dunnhumby is a company that's been doing loyalty for 25 years, which as an online loyalty company that helps our advertisers connect to their best customers. It was really great to be able to kind of get together with them. Still the early days, but we'll see how that develops over the next couple of years. So what do we do? Despite the namesake, Sociomantic, which harkens back to our roots in social network analysis for big brands, what we do today and what we've done really well, I hope, and from the last 5 years is programmatic display advertising. So we're in the same ballgame, this kind of Facebook exchange ballgame, as the Changos, as the ad rolls, as the Triggets, and the Trade Desk, all these kind of guys are in our world. So we do it threefold programmatic. Programmatic just means we use algorithms to do it. It's all machine driven. So first is about display ad buying, using real-time bidding to purchase the ads in real time on an individual impression by impression basis. Second is creative personalization, and that's going to be a big focus of what we talk about today. How can we use programmatic technologies to create a user individual message at a single point in time? And finally, the kind of third facet is audience segmentation. It's another thing we're going to talk about today. I'm not going to focus super hardcore on the Facebook product of Sociomantic, because I think you've probably got a good idea of those type of products from the last 2 days. So we're going to talk a little bit about CRM today. And the reason being is that we've seen many of our most advanced and our biggest and most aggressive advertisers make a big impact on their long-term revenue, not just the CPA-driven performance world, by looking at segmentation and looking at CRM and bringing the world of CRM to performance marketing. In the end, it's all about growing the customer relationship. That's the business that we are helping our customers to focus on. So going not just to look at who's visited my website within the last 30 days, but who do I have an ongoing relationship with? What can I use from my CRM database to actually inform the real-time marketing decisions that I'm making today? For us, it's really about pushing our advertisers to deliver one-to-one marketing at scale. So how can I take CRM data and something like the purchase history of a given client and create a message that's perfectly well tailored and perfectly suited to them? Why do we need to do it? It's taking a step back. Why personalize? Who cares? Consumers are actually asking for it. This, especially in the digital native world, as everyone's used to getting personalized offers, consumers are actually demanding this. We did a survey at the end of last year of 1,000 consumers. We worked with a research organization to do it. And we, as a personalization organization, were even surprised to see that 70% of them, 700 out of the 1,000 consumers, said that they actually are comfortable receiving advertising that's perfectly targeted to them. So this is something that consumers are asking for and that they are expecting from a brand that they have a relationship with. Because the truth is that personalized messaging works. I think you've seen very good evidence of this over the past few days. I was very happily surprised to step into the Helix cafeteria yesterday and see those very same Coke bottles that we had designed on the slide actually lined up in the cafeteria. Brands like Coca-Cola, brands like Starbucks are putting their money behind personalization because they can see that it helps them build a strong, ongoing relationship with their customers. This works especially well in the Facebook exchange. So that's the part of Facebook that we work with. We're a Facebook preferred marketing developer for the Facebook exchange. And that's where you can really do, again, user individual marketing at scale. Because of real-time bidding, you can reach one user at one time with one message. We also do this kind of personalized advertising across the web, across mobile, and across tablets. But Facebook is a really interesting environment, I think, because people are always there. We've actually seen that compared to kind of rest of web real-time bidding, that the performance was actually 3 times more efficient on Facebook, and that the time to purchase was actually faster too. That from the first kind of impression and the first clicks, that people were actually going to put things into their basket and finishing the checkout faster when they had been exposed to the ads on Facebook. So when we talk about personalization, what is actually possible? What are we talking about? What is it that you actually are able to personalize in this world? It's going to be twofold for the most part. The first part is the real-time bidding aspect, so this is the pricing. How much do I want to pay for this user at this point in time, and is this the right time to reach this user? How many times have I reached this user before? This all kind of goes into the pricing personalization. And the second piece is the messaging. What is the right offer? What is the perfect product that I can put in front of this person? Maybe it's not the product they've seen before. Maybe it's something related to that product. What is the message that I need to put in front of them to get the right result for long-term results? I think probably at this point, especially at the end of the conference, everyone's familiar with real-time bidding and the way that all of this is working in terms of bidding for an individual user at a single point in time using big data. On the messaging personalization, this is where things get really interesting from a CRM perspective. It's all about understanding your consumer over time. So whereas a lot of the retargeting that you see today is based on cookie data, it's based on website visitor data. What product pages did they visit? What categories did they visit? How long did they stay on the site? What you can do today is actually supplement that data with CRM data. What was their purchase pattern before this? How frequently has this person purchased? What was the recency of their most recent purchase? Are they someone that always returns products? Because that's going to hurt the margin that I would make from them as an advertiser. So all these types of factors can actually go in to messaging personalization to help you personalize the message on a user-by-user basis. And probably more interesting, hopefully, to this crowd is how do you actually do it? So there's a lot of different levels that you can do CRM-driven personalization. In the end, it has to start with what we would call smart data. We've talked about big data. It's a big buzzword that everyone has probably touched on at some point today. And there's a really smart guy named Florian Heinemann. Has anyone ever heard of this guy? Very famous guy in Germany. He was a former Rocket Internet guy, big innovator in e-commerce in Europe. And he was actually the guy that said, it's not about the big data. Big data is unstructured. Big data is basically a big mess. He said what you need to focus on is actually your smart data, the data that's already structured, that you have access to, that you can pull out. CRM is one of the most basic and kind of easy to access types of smart data that you can use to actually turn data into real actions from consumers. It's interesting. You really have to start with the basics when it comes to CRM. You're not going to be able to hyper-segment from day one. And in truth, unless you're a very big enterprise e-commerce company, then this kind of CRM segmentation may or may not make sense for you. Depends on the kind of volume that you're dealing with. But the most basic place that you can start is splitting between your new customers, your prospects, and your existing customers. It's cut off at the bottom. Actually, Razorfish and Adobe did a study last year where they surveyed and interviewed about 700 C-level marketing executives to find out a lot of different things about how they approach real-time personalized advertising today. And they found out that only 38% of those 700 executives felt that they could differentiate between their new customers and their existing customers. This is just the most basic piece. If you have information about an existing customer, then you should be using it to further that relationship, to grow the customer relationship. This was a case study that we did with office shoes, which I guess is quite known in this market, not so much in Germany where we're from, but we worked with them to do this CRM segmentation. And this case study was actually based on only the new versus existing split, the most basic kind of split that you can do with your customers. This company had been working with another vendor, another retargeting programmatic vendor for about 6 years, someone that they had a very good and long ongoing relationship with. And we wanted to prove that we could bring incremental revenue by helping them to understand their customers better. So running alongside this existing campaign and reaching their customers, their new and their existing customers with different types of personalized messaging, we are actually able to give an additional 94% incremental revenue for their display channel. That's with this existing 6-year vendor already running. The CTR stayed the same as their other campaigns, so they weren't losing anything there. We were able to bring twice as many new customers to the finish line, actually to conversions, than the existing campaign. And the conversion rate was actually 16% higher by comparison than the other campaign that they were running. In the end, it's about understanding for your business, how can you invest smarter? It's investment management for your pricing. So if you can split new and existing, then take it a step further. What's another indicator in your business? If you're not able to pull the CRM profiles, what's another indicator that you can use to segment your audience? One of our very large fashion retailers had done some research and discovered that for the users that had not purchased within 6 months, this user group was the most likely to turn to another vendor or to turn to another website to do their fashion shopping. So this is the most at-risk user group somehow. And so what they decided was actually to put the emphasis of their campaigns from a CPA standpoint, from an investment standpoint, to invest more for those users that from their CRM systems they could see haven't purchased in 6 months. It was about reactivation and re-engaging those consumers that hadn't made a purchase in a while so that they wouldn't lose their loyalty. So I think in performance marketing, which is a lot of what we've talked about on the FBX side of things over the last 2 days, we really have a focus sometimes on the CPA, a focus on this immediate action, this immediate result. And kind of our plea with our advertisers, and that I would make to you in the room, is to start thinking in terms of customer value and of customer lifetime value, rather than just the immediate CPA. What your kind of smart data looks like, obviously is going to look pretty different depending on what type of advertiser you are. This is just 2 vertical examples of what it might look like in the retail industry, where you've got loyalty data from loyalty cards, where you've got purchase data, you've got a lot of marketing interactions such as mail-outs or email marketing, versus the travel industry where you have things like revenue management data, which is actually more product data, your frequent flyer program. So really the data that you bring to the party is going to depend on your business goals and what you're trying to achieve. This I won't get too deep into because based on the kind of demographics of the audience over the last few days, I don't think there's so many enterprise level players in the room, but kind of the best case scenario of what we've seen in terms of CRM-driven personalization is what's called customer lifetime value-driven marketing. And this is what we've seen some of our most advanced players step up and actually do very, very advanced analytics where they're pulling data from numerous sources. So they're pulling monetization information from their data warehouse. This is data about what's the margin per individual user. Are they returning products? Are they buying the brand name products that I have a highest margin on, or are they buying the Nike shoes that I have a low margin on? All this kind of monetization data comes out of the data warehouse, pulling recency and frequency of purchase information out of the web analytics, and finally using their programmatic data, this kind of retargeting and on-site visitation data, and combining all of that to create a customer lifetime value prediction on an individual user basis. So this is kind of the dream. It's where we see things are going, and we see several marketers doing this quite successfully, but it does take a very, very big and well-knowledgeable business intelligence team to pull it off. So finally, what do we think about when we think about CRM-driven personalized marketing? Is about using your smart data, the data that matters to your business, to segment your investments based on customer value, on long-term value, rather than just the CPA, rather than the immediate action in front of you, and to personalize messages on an individual level based on the customer relationship. How can I delight my customers? How can I keep them loyal by giving them the message that's going to mean the most to them? Because in the end, I think it's a challenge for all of us in this room as we transition to a cookieless world over the next years to think beyond the last click. Last click is a limiting factor, and it's something that we see from an attribution standpoint is holding a lot of marketers back. I think earlier today, Myron Software was talking about having a weighted click-based attribution, and that's just one step on the path to thinking beyond the last click. How often does my customer buy? What is the decision process? What are these other factors that I need to bring back into my CRM system and I need to bring back into my customer profiling to have a better ongoing relationship with them and deliver satisfaction on an ongoing basis? And for us, especially now together with our new partner, dunnhumby, we're really excited to see what this can start to look like over the next 5 years to really get a 360-degree view of the consumer. I loved seeing the Chango prediction of the future because I really think this is something we'll see start to come to reality over the next few years. If you have an in-store digital display, you got loyalty data from a loyalty card, someone is checking out at Tesco, and you have all the data about their online marketing interactions across Facebook, across the web, across mobile, and even their interactions on Tesco.com. You know, we can all make our own suppositions of what that might look like in the future. So really this idea of the 360-degree view, taking all of those different touch points to deliver completely personalized marketing on an individual level and using programmatic technology to do it at scale. That's it from me. Nice and short, hopefully get us back on schedule. We are hiring across Europe, so if you want to go to careers.sociomantic.com, we'd love to hear from you if you're looking for a job in programmatic. Thanks.